Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another live stream. Today we got a Monday mukbang going on, and already you guys have been blowing up the chat trying to guess what it is that I'm going to be eating today. I'll get to that in just a second, but first I do want to apologize for yesterday's live stream. I thought I can make it work timing-wise with doing it from the road, but I think I'm AT&T in terms of my phone service, and everyone else around here is US Cellular. So I just think that there's a little bit of a weakness in terms of the AT&T service around here. I'm not going to completely blame my phone. I should have planned that out a little bit better. Thanks everyone for sticking through it and at least giving it a chance. I think we'll have to rethink that if I ever want to do that again. And someone had the idea of doing maybe just the audio only version if I ever have to do that again. So I think that's probably what we'll do. But today we're back in the, let's call it the studio. We're back upstairs in my in-laws' house, New Vienna, Iowa. It's 3 p.m. and it is an absolutely beautiful day. We had a little bit of rain this morning, but that has cleared through. We probably could have used a lot more rain, but that is cleared through. And now it is just absolutely comfortable, just so comfortable outside. It's such a beautiful day. So now, with that out of the way, let's get to what I'm eating today. Here's what I'm eating today. It's this. I'll go over some of the guesses first. There's a companion to it as well. It's this. That probably doesn't help all that much. But that's what I'm eating. And so Terrence Huey's here, coming in from having mukbanged. I like the use of the word mukbang as a verb. Having mukbanged some Krispy Kremes. Frank LaHulier is here. Steve, JC, Chris Dyke, Martha, Lainey A, Jody Runs. This is good day, everyone. Good day, Jody, if I may say that. Let's see. And then Mike House is here as well. Mike House is asking if I'm eating a bath bomb. Some people are saying that it's a blueberry scone, either that or a geode, like a literal rock. You guys are thinking I'm going to eat today? So, maybe. I got some coffee to go with it, whatever it is. Some people think it's a bar of pieces of lavender soap mushed together. That's an interesting one. It would be a way, as Martha suggests, a way of cleaning up my diet. Oh, as Jody suggests, cleaning up my diet. Or Martha says, washing out my potty mouth. I've been saying wankers a lot lately, I guess. So I think I feel like that's like the right level of potty mouth, of wanker, because it's not a bad word in the U.S., in American English. And then lavender soap. So like cleans it out. It's like a good level of clean. It's not like a bar of like pure ivory or like whatever soap. That is popular around wherever you guys are. I used to use, I forget, lava rock, like almost like a pumice stone. That used to be my soap. Like this is when like my wife and I were still dating and before I met my wife. The kind of bars of soap, they sell it right. It's on the bottom shelf of the grocery store, right next to the ivory. And it's the kind of stuff that they advertise like for mechanics, and it just takes grease off of everything. That used to be my soap of choice. And then I met my wife, and I was like, I probably need to have like normal human being soap. So I went to Ivory, the kind that you buy in the 12-pack or the 8-pack. So there's that. Luis Becerra wants to know if it's a meteor. What it is, blueberry scone is a really, really good guess. And what it actually is, and we're gonna have some visual aids today too, it is just a regular buttermilk biscuit, a biscuit in the American sense, not the biscuit in like the UK or a British English sense. Just a buttermilk biscuit that my daughter dyed with food coloring purple. So like, let me show you a picture. We got the idea because the baby was watching YouTube on the TV, and one of the videos she watched, the family made, they called them tie-dyed waffles. So they just made batter, put it into like piping. They put food coloring in batter and then put it into piping bags and would pipe it onto like a waffle iron. And the baby's like, Daddy, let's eat that. And I was like, oh, actually, you know what? Okay, let's do it. So we did that. We didn't do the piping bags thing because who wants to mess around with piping bags? And so I just did it. I made 4 different bowls of batter. One big batch, and then divided it into 4, made it different colors. And here's a picture of how it turned out. I was actually pretty proud of us and how we did. So here's I keep calling them rainbow waffles or rainbow pancakes because I think that just sounds better, but they called them rainbow waffles. Hopefully this didn't make my screen freeze. That's what happened last time. But yeah, so those are the waffles that they made, and it was like the best they've ever eaten in like such a long time. They've not been really great eaters. They've been kind of like picky eaters lately. So I was super excited about that. They even ate them for lunch, and then they finished that, and then we had to make another batch. And then, which I thought I had a picture of, but I don't. And this is what I'm eating. I took a picture of it yesterday because they made these yesterday, and then they made another batch this morning. And these are just the biscuits, and they're just like ultra purple on the inside. It's just absolutely crazy. But they just taste, they're regular biscuits. They're actually really good. And my daughter's she's been making buttermilk biscuits like crazy. She has like a little kid's cookbook that she uses. And it's so fun because she likes cooking. And these taste fantastic. And I will have to admit, I mean, I grew up in New Jersey, so like baking biscuits is not really in my, not in my blood, I guess. But these are better than any biscuits that I've ever made. And I've tried a whole bunch of ways. I've tried it using lard, using butter, pastry flour, cutting it in with a pastry cutter, cutting it in by hand, making sure the butter, I've like played around with butter temperatures, everything like that. She comes in and she's like winging it, reading the recipe and like throwing things in the bowl as she goes. And they're just absolutely fantastic. So I don't know how she did it, but these biscuits are just really good. So I've been eating them like crazy. And I will tell you though, they do not make a good pre-run fuel. I had one before my run this morning, and it like sat in my belly like a brick. So that's like the one drawback. They're not good like race food, but they are really great after a run. I'll tell you that. So they're super fun, and we decided to make them the biscuits food colored because the waffles went over so well. And then yesterday I made a pork shoulder in the crock pot. Because on the weekends, my in-laws, my father-in-law has a convertible, like an old classic car. Someone asked about it last time. It's a 1974, I want to say, Chevy Caprice convertible, a big, giant boat of a car. It's just absolutely fantastic. And they like to just cruise around. They usually have a car club that they cruise with, but a lot of those cruising events have been canceled. Some of them haven't. But a lot of them have been canceled and they don't go with them anymore. So they spend the day out. So I was thinking we need to have something to eat when everyone gets home. And we were out at the park yesterday as well. So that's what I made. And my daughter wanted to come home and she wanted to make biscuits. And I was like, let's put food coloring in the biscuits. And let's really freak out Grandpa. See what happens. And we'll just pass him one. And we put like a napkin on top. And then he pulled it up and he was like, what is this? And then we were like, open it up. He's like, what's happening? And we made him eat it. So, and he was just like, meh, all right. We thought he would get more reaction out of it, but he's pretty poker faced. I guess there may have been a lot of surprises at the dinner table when I've been cooking dinner, so maybe he just like rolls with it at this point. But we had fun. And then this morning, my daughter made more, and then she made these yellow ones, which I haven't had the yellow ones yet. So I'm thinking like biscuits and yellow. Oh, but they're very yellow. They're all over my microphone, but they're not showing up that well on the camera, but it's like an intense yellow color. But like biscuits are kind of like yellow already because of the dough. But I mean, it's food coloring, so it doesn't change the flavor, but it does make the food more interesting for the children to eat. And I'm sure I'm not the first parent to think of that, but at least for now, they're eating really well. Just by dyeing the food. So that's what we've been doing. Yeah. So Rambling Dune says, anyone not run today? It's my day off and I'm feeling guilty. Well, I know the feeling, but if it's a rest day, or if it's an unplanned rest day. My rest days used to be all unplanned, but it was just like there's just not enough room in the day for it. And you know what? I could use a rest day. So I try to look at it that way. Yeah. The CV76 asks, but do the biscuits pair well with beer? They do very much. So yesterday, I had a whole bunch of vegetables. with barbecue sauce on it because I didn't have the pork shoulder, but had that and the biscuits, and my mother-in-law made macaroni and cheese. So that was dinner, and the biscuits go really well with macaroni and cheese, and they really go well with Coors Light. I'll tell you that. Well, so I think I'm just going to have to do some testing and test them with all sorts of other kinds of beers. But my father-in-law and mother-in-law had a beer from Textile, the brewery that's down the street in Dyersville. They're drinking a beer. I had it before. It tastes like a red ale, and it's pretty good. Kind of like Fat Tire-ish a little bit. And I think that would go really well with the biscuits as well. So, yeah. Jeff Elliott said, did the biscuits send you to the corn? No, the biscuits didn't send me to the corn. But it was just kind of like, because I've had, cookies before a run. I've had fruit before a run. I've had it like oatmeal or granola or other things like that. And sometimes it's like, I've got something in my belly. It's kind of sates my belly. And my belly's too empty in the morning. I just feel like things are sloshing around in there. So like, I do like to kind of eat something before I go. But today it was just like, it just wasn't great. So, but it did not send me to the corn. That wasn't the issue. I did though, for those of you who are paying attention, and I've told you guys before that like if there's a pause in the running, or if there's an elapsed time different than the running time, that means I've been in the corn, or I've been pooping basically. For those of you who haven't been following that closely on the live streams. But today, my heart rate monitor didn't pair correctly, and so as I was running, both my watches were showing like 175, and I was running downhill and just warming up, and I was like, something's wrong. So I stopped the run on the grit, and then I make sure I repaired the device. It was kind of annoying, but then I got it, and so that's why I did have two separate runs kind of today. All right, let's see what else we got in here. Let's see. Randomly Dude said, thanks all for replying to his question. Thinks he's feeling guilty because he ate like a horse the night before. I mean, and then you took the day off today. I think that's fine. I mean, you got to think about it this way. If you ate like a bunch, either you did one of, hopefully it was, or likely it was one of two things. One is because you were either with lots of people and you were celebrating, or two, it's because your body was telling you, hey, we need to eat. We've been doing a lot of activities, or it's been stressful, or both. And it's your body's way of telling you, hey, you need to fuel up a little bit. So like I really wouldn't feel too bad about that. If you're being active, you're out there running, things will fall in line. So don't worry about it. Christian says, any plans on doing an Under Armour review again? Yes, not in the immediate future, but I don't know what happened to it this year. This year I was going to look at a couple of them because I didn't the year before. And so I was like, well, we'll see. I was waiting to see what was going to happen with some of their winterized offerings because I really did like running with them in the winter. My overall kind of like recollection of Under Armour shoes is like they're good shoes. They're a bit heavy, but I like them. And so I was like, in the wintertime, my mind weight a little bit less in the shoes. And so I did have a really good time running in a mid-top shoe from Under Armour. So I was hoping for another one or revisitation of that. And we didn't get it. So I think that's probably what threw me off. I was like just waiting and waiting. So we'll see. But yeah, I do want to do some more Under Armour reviews. I mean, their gear always looks really good. And then I think part of it too was like, I was like, is Under Armour still going to be around as far as running in a year? Because remember there was like stuff going on with their president. And then like there was mention that like interest in the running category was like kind of like, lackluster, and so I just wasn't sure if they were like serious about staying in the field, because they're doing really well, I think, in like gym, CrossFit, football, of course, basketball. Even I don't think do they make basketball shoes? I'm not sure, but like they have a lot more headway in other areas, and it seems like a lot of uphill battle in the running category. So I didn't know. That's the other part about Under Armour that kind of like gives me pause a little bit. Corey Allen says, even when my Polar says overreaching, I run slow at an easy heart rate, get a few miles, and my body recovers while I run. That's what I like to do. But if I'm at like the overreaching state, and all of a sudden, like, it's a really crazy day, and it's like, today might be a good day for a rest day. That's when I'm just like, yep, rest day, and I won't feel bad about it, you know, because like you're an entire person, not just a runner, and so like, you know, if you're like super stressed out and it's just really hard to get the run in on that day, or you're not feeling great already, or maybe you didn't sleep enough, maybe you're not eating right, and then you still try to get the run in anyway, you know, that whole person suffers, you know, so that's the thing. All right, we got a super chat here from Posner2 says, thank you so much, Posner. Says, can you recommend a few neutral shoes that you would recommend for tempo runs and could also be used for strides and intervals as well? Yeah, so I would think that the Pegasus and the Novaplast both fit in that category. I think that I would prefer the Pegasus for some of those intervals, strides, tempo runs, that kind of thing. I think that the Boston 9 would also be a really good choice. SL20, here we go. It comes in. It's a word of the day every day. But I think the SL20 is definitely a shoe that can fit in that category. It's going to be a little bit stiffer for an everyday shoe, but for when you are picking it up, that's definitely going to be a good choice as well. Let's see what else jumps out at me. I think that Atreyu too. I haven't been really running in that one, and I haven't been paying much attention to it, but I think that strikes me as more of like not a minimal, but a more stripped down, because minimalist means something different, but a more stripped down type of everyday shoe that can be used excuse me, to be for running faster runs. So those are some that I would take a look at. Let's see. All right. See, Jarek Dixon says, to answer my question, it looks like 2 participants wore Under Armour shoes in the Olympic Trials Marathon? Really? One wore the Under Armour Velocity 2, and one or the Under Armour Velocity Racer. I'm not even familiar with those. I'll have to take a look at that. Very cool. Yeah. So, J Page says the Atreyus are sold out. Oh, that's cool. I mean, it's good for them. I'm excited. But I think that you can always get in like there. Excuse me. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. But yeah, Matt Ponzer is saying to Posner 2, look at the Brooks Hyperion Tempo. I agree. I like that one too. I think that's going to be similar to like the SL20 in terms of really, really perfect for your tempo and faster days, and pretty good for your everyday. It's going to feel a little bit firm for every days. Ilya Kim says, what about Cliftons? I think the Cliftons are really great for the everyday. And then it depends. If it's just like strides at the end of a run, I think the Cliftons will be great. If it's a lot of faster running, I'm not a huge fan of it. So that's where I think like it's really comfortable. And that makes it good for long runs and easy runs, but not so much some of the faster stuff. You know? Rainrunner says about the Atreyus, the idea of a shoe subscription doesn't really appeal to me. I like to pick my shoes when I want. That's kind of how I feel about it too. But I also remember like there was a time not that long ago, and I think it's pretty clear that I'm not like a normal shoe shopper because I buy so many a month. But there was a time when I wore like 3 of the same shoe, and I wore like the Pegasus 33, I think. I bought like 4 pairs of them in a row. Like I wore one, I wore it out, I bought another one, wore it out, bought another one, and wore it out. And so like, I mean, if that was like if like at that time they had made a Pegasus subscription, I would have been like a gold member. You know what I mean? So I can understand it. I think it just depends. These days though, I like a lot of variety, and so that's why it'd be harder for me to get in on that. But I also think that like the way they do it, I don't think there's like an activation fee. So you can sign up, and then once you're a subscriber, you get, I think, first access to like the new kind of versions that come out. So if you're into that and you want to get like some of those, maybe they have smaller releases or whatever, however they're going to start doing that, and then you could kind of get first dibs if you want to order that one. And then you could just pause your like subscription, quote unquote, for as long as you want. So, yeah. Josh Mulway says, Triumph 17 or Rincon 1? I mean, they're two very different shoes. And so I would look at the Triumph 17 for like, if I got a bunch of 20-mile runs coming up, that's what I would look at. And then the Rincons were like, if I have a bunch of fartleks coming up, that's what I would want. Or like a bunch of threshold runs, that's what I would want. But in terms of which one of those two is the better shoe, I think the Triumph is more surprising and is more like, excels at what it does much more than the Rincon excels at what it does. If that makes sense. All right. Myra Denon says, Jacob Ingebrigtsen said in an interview after European Championships that he has been a professional athlete since the age of 6. How many years have you been running, Kofuzi? Well, I started running in like the 7th grade, I think. So what would that have made me? That would have made me like 11, right? And then I ran from then until I was like 19. So that was like the 8 years. Running basically as little as possible to be able to still like be on these teams. So like I ran like what was prescribed, no more, no less, sometimes less, but never more. And then I took a long break from running. I would run like, here and there, but I took a long break from running until about 2010. Ran a couch to marathon. I hated it. And then I didn't run again until like 2016. So I would say really my running life started like, 4 years ago. That's what I would say. Corian says, since I run in Vivo Barefoot and Zero, Xero, my shoes never wear out. No foam and minimal uppers. I mean, they don't wear out like in terms of like the outsole, like doesn't like grind down at all. That's crazy. That's amazing. All right, Ramley Dude coming in with a super chat as well. Thanks so much, Ramley Dude. Says, thanks for the input. Got to run. I mean, not run, but leave the chat later on. Well, thanks so much, Ramley Dude. Good to see you in here today. And, don't feel guilty, man. Everyone needs a rest day. You got to take care of the whole person, So take care of yourself. See you next time. Let's see. Sean Marshall talking about one day I'll grab a Polar Grid X. Seems perfect, but too pricey right now. I mean, I think like smartwatch pricing is really hard right now. The only watch that I think is like really a really great price would probably be the Pace 2 from Coros. Because if it's as good as the Apex, it might not have the route navigation, which I've found a way to mess up. But I think that's like the main thing it doesn't have. And it's a smaller watch, and I think slightly less battery. But it pairs with everything I needed to pair it to. It does everything on its own that it needs to. And it's $200. That's an amazing deal. And I think that's a good price. Because always what's out there, it's kind of like the idea of like, you might make a really good coffee at Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or wherever you get coffee. But at the end of the day, there's always still McDonald's out there as like the behemoth that is not a direct competitor necessarily to like lattes or fancy drinks or super sugary drinks, although they kind of are. But as a breakfast option, McDonald's is still like the behemoth. I think in all these watches, when they're running watches, you still have the Apple Watch to contend with. And the Apple Watch 3, I think, is still for sale directly from Apple at like $300 or something like that. And at that point, like you got a lot of if you're going to be more than $300, you have to be really compelling to be more than $300. And so like, I think that's the really tricky part about all these watches and their pricing right now. And I just think that maybe they can't make enough watches to get the prices to the right point to be competitive with an Apple Watch like 3. It's just I don't know how you do it. So it's a tough time to be a watchmaker. It's a great time to be a runner. Someone said, did anyone, I forgot, I just saw it, but it like moved as soon as I read it. Let's see, 2 questions. First one is from Christine Boos. I'll get to that in just a second. Oh, Mark M says the Apple Watch 3 is $169. I mean, that's just bonkers because you get so much from that. You can get so much out of an Apple Watch 3 in terms of running. I don't love it because it's only got the digital crown and the other button, and those are super like mapped. And so I like more buttons, and I'll talk about that in tomorrow's video as well. But the other question, the one question someone had is, like, did I ever get the thing figured out in Koros? I did get it figured out the following day, which was yesterday's bike ride. I got it figured out. So I'll have a video talking about like my second attempt with the route navigation. I got it to work. And I'll have like a real actual comparison tomorrow on just one data point, which will be, that ride. But, I kind of like making these videos that's like, I'm not trying to like tell you here's all what you should think about the watch. I'm trying to like give you like, here's what happened this day and then the next day. And it was like, yes, maybe it's not enough to be a repeatable, like I don't have a significant number of N in terms of data repetitions, but that's what happened on the day. It's got to perform on the day. So that's kind of what I like about it. It's been fun. So I'll talk about that more tomorrow for sure. So it worked. And then the other question was, what happened to Sunto? That's a great question. Christine Booth asking, what happened to Sunto? I really like the Sunto 5. I just couldn't read it. If I could have read it, like if they just made like the new Sunto 5 now even brighter, I think that would have been a pretty good watch. Yeah. So, but like I felt like what I remember of the Sunto was like it was again one of those things where it's like, but like in a world where Apple Watch exists, it feels a little expensive. I think the same thing about the Vantage M from Polar. Just to not to like bash on everybody. Not just bash on one person, to bash on everybody. It's hard. It's hard. But Frank Lahulier says you have to buy into iWorld in order to get Apple Watch. That's true. That's true. I'm in that world, so like it makes sense for me. But if you're not, then yeah, it's because like why would you get that and pair it with like a Samsung phone? I think there's people that do that though. Bert Legas says, wet fingers on a wet Apple Watch. Try to end your workout after a run in the rain and everything is wet. It's frustrating. Yeah, I've had that experience. That's one of the reasons why I ended up getting a watch is one time, not from like having a wet Apple Watch, but one time I was running on the Heritage Trail and I ended the run and I had a great run and I really want to knock the car and then rub it against like the upholstery of like the car to dry it off. And then I was able to unlock the phone and end the activity. That was a frustrating day. Then I was like, maybe I need a device. Mark Jancoco says, Garmin had some issues again yesterday, and my run took a few hours to sync with the app. I think that I heard that a lot of apps had, I don't know, maybe it was like Amazon Web Services. I don't know, but I was seeing on Twitter that a lot of people's apps were having problems. Like even people had a hard time buying coffee at Starbucks yesterday. And I feel like if that's having a problem, then like, this is a pretty big problem. It's system, like not just system-wide, it's a really big problem. So I think that is what was going on there. I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people, it looks like, from the comments here. Yeah. Oh, you missed it. Oh, the purple biscuit the revenge. Oh, okay. Retell the story we were all buffering. Oh, what was happening? Yeah, okay. Yeah, in terms of like the internet, I think that like yeah, Jeff Elliott, this is what I heard too. Everyone had internet issues yesterday. It was an internet backbone, level 3 now CenturyLink issue with BGP. And Bert, like I says, that's the backbone of the internet. Yeah. Yeah, so I think even Starbucks was affected by that yesterday. Lots of other apps were affected by it too. Yeah. Even my wife's company had some issues with it too. My wife's company had issues with internet yesterday around the same time. I have not confirmed with her whether it was the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, Matt Frederick says, can you retell the story? I think you're talking about the story about the run. Yeah. Oh, the great one. Oh, the great run. Okay, so I'll tell you the rest of the story. So I'm at the end of this great run. Hopefully I'm not, stop me if I'm like repeating too much. But so I'm at the end of this great run. And at this point I have not have a watch, but I'm recording the activity on my iPhone. And I don't even know if it was iPhone 7 or not, but it was an older iPhone, so it didn't have facial recognition. And yeah, and so I finished this run on the Heritage Trail, which was out here, and it was summertime. And I was like, this was a really great run. I nailed it today. I want to make sure I stop the run exactly when I stop, so that way, like, the entire like activity, like, pace is as fast as it can possibly be. Because I think I was like, in my mind, I'm thinking I might be close to like just below, like, if it was like under 8 minutes per mile, I think I'm in the 750s or something like that. It was something where I was just like super intent on getting that exact right pace. I finished the run. I dig the phone out of my pocket and I'm trying to unlock it, and it won't take my thumbprint. And then I'm like, the phone is soaking wet because it was in my shorts, and my shorts are like all soaking wet too. And I don't think I had a shirt on, so I was like trying to dry it against these shorts, but the shorts are drenched. And I'm trying to like undo it, and it won't do it. And I'm waving the phone around because I'm hoping to like use evaporative cooling to dry off the phone, and that wouldn't work either. I'm asking Siri, like, Siri, unlock the phone. And I swear it said, I can't do that for you, Michael. And I was like, you can't do it for me, Michael, but you just recognized my name. I don't understand why is that not a thing? And eventually I was like, and I'm like freaking out because like precious seconds are ticking away. And so I get out the car keys from my pocket, I unlock the door, and I rub the phone against the upholstery of the car seat. And then I can finally, and I had to wipe my finger on the car seat too. And then I could finally like unlock the phone, and then I was able to stop it. And then right after then I was like, I think I need to start looking for a watch. And I think it wasn't though until the following like November though that I got one. My wife got it for me for my birthday. So, but yeah, that's ever since then I'm like, I need a separate device. Yeah, we had a super chat in here. MC1796, the super chat, thank you, says, I owe you for all the motivation. New PR 1757. Awesome work. That is a blazing fast time. Congratulations, MC1796. Great work. Here comes the cowbell for you. Fantastic. I'm super impressed. That is a fast time. I gotta ask you guys a question. So today, I got a message from a group that is going to be putting on like a virtual competition. Not a virtual race exactly, but it's in conjunction. They're doing it in conjunction with Tracksmith, and they're like, "Do you want to be a part of this?" And I don't think it means like me like being on like I think it was just asking me if I want to sign up. And what it is I don't know if I can announce it or not. But anyway, they didn't tell me I couldn't or anything. But basically, it's this event where it's going to be like regional championships for 5Ks. And they were like, do you want to be part of it? Like the top 25 people in each you run a 5K within like a certain window. And then the top 25 times in your region move on to like the next bigger region. And you run another 5K the following like week or so in another thing, and then you do it again, and you do it again, and then there's going to be like a national championship that they're going to do, and the winner gets like $5,000 in Tracksmith gear or something like that. Basically, I think that means you get like 2 of everything, or maybe 1 of everything that Tracksmith makes. It's beautiful clothes. I've not tried it yet, but beautiful but expensive. But so I messaged the guy back, and I'm like, I think this is literally not my speed, because like what's like a 20-minute 5K guy gonna do in a competition like this? And they're like, haha, yeah, you're probably not gonna get very far. And I'm like, I know, that's my point. So why would I sign up for that? Do you think I should just sign up for that anyway, just to be part of it? Because I think it'd be fun to kind of like report on it. And I think as long as you're gonna report on it and like just be like, hey, here's who's running in this. Because I would imagine that there's going to be some way that I can look at all the results, too, of everyone around, and all the results have to be verifiable on Strava or Garmin, I think, were the 2 ones it said. So I don't know. What do you think about that? Should I? Yeah, Frank Louis says, yeah, why not? Jennifer Herring says they should have age groups. That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it because it wasn't. I feel like the fee wasn't that much, so it'll be fun to do. And I've been wanting to run fast, but the thing is, it starts in a couple of weeks, so it's not like I have any time to train for it. I mean, if I could have started my 5K training back when I wanted to, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, at least I'd have like some sort of head start. But I don't, I mean, I guess I could just run a 5K on that day and then run a long cool down if I'm trying to run more miles. So maybe I'll do that. I don't know. We'll see. Marchand Coco says, "My Gooder sunglasses just came in today. I'm gonna be Kovuzi cool on my next daytime run." That's funny, awesome. I hope you enjoy yours. Frank Levy says, "Yeah, do it. Why not?" Yeah, I mean, I think you should do it. Says Daniel M. Truman Halliday says, "Just send it." All right, maybe I'll do it. Daniel M says, "It isn't like you're too busy with other races right now." That's a good point. Yeah, we'll see how I could do. I did find yesterday, as we were kind of doing some driving around, which I think is a very Iowan thing to do, just drive around aimlessly a little bit. And we did go for a walk down in Dyersville, because my in-laws were telling us about a place. This is what we did after like the live stream. We were like, well, I can't do a live stream, guys. It's kind of all screwed up, so let's just go do some more driving. And then we went down to Dyersville, and there's a place where there's soccer fields, like recreational fields. A lot of it used to be homes, apparently, but it's in a floodplain. And the last big, giant flood that happened in town, like a lot of those houses were condemned, and so now they turned it into like soccer fields. But they're building a lot of new like cement paths in that area for like people to use like bikes and scooters and family stuff on. And so it basically goes around a whole bunch of soccer fields. It's very flat. It's very clean, smooth, concrete sidewalk. So I think that's where I'm going to start doing all my time trials from, because I think that the only downside is I think that area gets really windy. So I think it's very open, and so I think winds really come across it, so there could be some really killer headwinds. But I think that might be a place to start doing some time trials, because I think it's flatter than that area that I have been doing some time trials on. So yeah. Mr. Random says, "Do you think it would be open to guys in the EU?" I don't think so, because the way they set it up, it was by like U.S. regions. So like I think I would enter from Iowa, because I'll be doing all my time trials from Iowa, and so I'd be in like the North Midwest region, and there's another region that was like Chicago, like Illinois, Indiana. I don't know if Ohio was in it. So there was like those areas. So I'm not sure. Mr. Random says go for 5K. Okay, all right, I'll do it. I'll sign up. No, it'll be fun. Yeah. Let's see. Someone asked a shoe question earlier too. Where did it go? Joachim Liu says Peg 37 or Triumph 18. I think, again, it's another one where there are two different shoes, because the previous question was like Triumph 17 and Rincon 1. Peg 37 and Triumph 18. These two shoes are closer together. I think that I would rather have a Peg 37 than a Triumph 18 for me, because I think that Saucony shoes aren't agreeing with me at the moment. Although I did run in some today. I ran in the Ride 13 today. I'm going to try to run the Shift tomorrow. See how that goes. But the Triumph 18 is a really fun shoe. But the Peg 37, I think, is just a very versatile shoe and can do so many things. So I think I'm going to give it the slight edge. I think I'd like that one. Matt 852 says, "You miss 100% of the shots you don't take," says Wayne Gretzky and Michael Scott. That's so funny. And then, here's what I was thinking, though. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, oh, you know what else is in the region as Iowa? Minnesota. That's where Ben Johnson is. So I bet you if he's entered, he's totally going to nail it. Because that dude's fast, too. I'm sure there's 100. I think in this county, in Dubuque County, there's a lot of fast kids. Because I've been reading up on it, and the local high schools are pretty good. And some of the local collegiate runners, they're going to small colleges here. I don't know that they're big names, but, they're not D1 level, but they're fast guys. So there's lots of fast people. I think it depends on who's interested in going after a tracksmith shopping spree. Although I think that it would affect your NCAA eligibility. So I think there won't be any college level runners. I mean, maybe there may be college age runners, but there won't be college athletes in it. Although I guess if your cross country season's canceled, you still can't do that, right? I don't think you can go and compete in something for a monetary prize and still maintain your eligibility, even if your season's been canceled. I'm not sure how that works. Yeah. Mark Rainey says Ben Johnson from Canada back in the day, also fast. Yeah, I think it's might be something in the name. Yeah. Let's see. People talking about Seth and his energy. Yeah, he's so much energy. It's pretty incredible. Yeah, I mean, if you talk to him in real life, it's the same. It's the same energy. So like, it's not like he's like getting amped up for the camera and like he's just going. He just turned the camera on. It could have been like randomly running and he forgot he left it on and he was just randomly talking. That's what you would also get. Because he is super high energy. I mean, the fact that he even drinks caffeinated drinks ever is kind of surprising to me. He's one of those people. If he told me like I never take caffeine, I'd be like, I could see it. I could see it. Awesome. I've not been eating enough of these purple biscuits. They're good though. Daniel M says, "If you ain't first, you're last" by Ricky Bobby. You know, I think I don't know. Maybe I need to watch it again. But I felt like the Legend of Ricky Bobby. Was it the Legend or the Ballad of Ricky Bobby? Whatever that movie is with Ricky Bobby. It's a very underrated movie. I really enjoyed it. One of my favorite scenes is when they're praying before dinner, and I think it was like Kentucky Fried Chicken for dinner. And they were thanking all their sponsors in their prayer. They're like, thank Pepsi and Kentucky Fried Chicken. And they rattled off a whole bunch of sponsors, kind of like when the NASCAR drivers thank all the sponsors after a race. And it was just amazing. And I felt like it was a really great remake. And I hope it was consciously a nod to the product placement spoof in Wayne's World when they're like, Pizza Hut, you know. I don't know if you remember that, guys, but I just felt like those are viewed as slapstick movies, but I think there's quite a bit of insight into it. Or maybe I'm reading too much into that. Let's see. Goku Runner says, "Have you seen those heel issues at the Running Channel checkout the other week? Those were crazy." Yeah, I've seen those. I want to say it was either like not one of like one of the writers. I don't think it was Matt Fitzgerald. It was Matt Hutchinson. Is it Alex Hutchinson? Hutchinson, the writer, the running author. He was running in those, I think. I want to say, and then I think Darnan Finn was running in them too. He's also a writer. They're weird. They still remind me of Jump Soles. Goku Runner, I think you probably know what Jump Soles are. You probably do. I would guess. But that's what I thought of when I saw those, and I thought it was a very interesting idea. But I don't think that would work for me. Rainwater said, "The Ride 13 is very intriguing to me." You know, I did I mention it yesterday? I'm thinking about, or maybe the other day, I'm thinking about getting a pair of Ride 13s for my wife. I think that it would really work out for her. I tried showing it to her, though. And my wife's very busy. She works a lot, and she's got a lot on her plate, like with work and stuff right now. So sometimes I can't tell if it's like her way of saying that's a terrible idea and I should bring it up again. I mean, you would think I would know after, a baker's dozen years of marriage. But sometimes I still have a hard time reading her, especially with shoes, because she's very picky with her running shoes, and it always takes me 3 or 4 tries to get it right with her. So she's just a conundrum sometimes. But I enjoyed running in the Ride 13s today, but I will say, though, that when I put them on after having not run in any Saucony shoes for a while, well, I guess I ran in the Shift, but the Shift was like my first Saucony shoe I ran in like 4 weeks since the 30-mile run in the Endorphin Speed. when I put them on today, I was like, oh, I feel like it's very stiff underneath my arch and on the medial side of the foot, like the inner part. And I was worried that my knee was just going to give out by the end of the run. But it held together just fine. We'll see how it feels tomorrow when I try to do 2 Saucony shoes back to back. I think I'll be all right. That's why, although if I didn't think I was going to be all right, I wouldn't do it. But we'll see it. We'll see how it goes. Jody Run says, after 23 years, I still can't read my wife. I don't think I ever will. Yeah, I think that's, well, that makes me feel better about it. Yeah. I think part of it is she is very much a people pleaser. So, she's a nurturer. She's a people pleaser. She's a very caring, and empathetic person. Many of the things that draw me to her, but it also makes it very hard for her to say when she doesn't like something. For me, if I look at something and someone's like, hey, what do you think about this? I'll be like, nope. I don't have a problem doing that. I think my wife has a hard time doing that. Even to me, after a baker's dozen years of being married, you know, she thinks still, sometimes she's still even nice to me. Or she doesn't want to hurt my feelings. So that's always nice. All right. I think that's a good place to end it for today. I think she's downstairs with the kids. So I'm going to run it by her one more time, the ride 13. And then see, I'll let you guys know tomorrow how that goes. See if she's like more receptive to it, or if maybe she's figured out the words she wants to use to tell me that I'm an idiot. It could go either way. I give it about 50-50. So, all right. Thanks so much, everybody. Tomorrow's video is going to be about the Coros Apex and how I got the route navigation to work and how much I do or don't like it. And then we'll do Trivia Tuesday tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm doing something special for Trivia Tuesday. It's going to be a little bit different than trivia. It'll be fun, I think. We'll try it out. You'll have to be here to check it out. Let me know what you think, all right? In the meantime, hope you guys are being safe out there. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks, everybody.